Out too here. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Playmaker podcast. I got a few fellas with me. Some of these faces you probably are very familiar with. One of them you may know, you may not. But we're gonna get our introductions going here. We got Brady back on the queue. We got Nate, and we got our boy Minuteman Scott from Minuteman Tickets. We're gonna get
What's up, guys?
we're gonna get him on here and let him talk about a little bit of what he's got going on for Crohn's and colitis tonight. For raising money for that, for ripping for the cure. But let's just get into it. Let's get some introductions going. Brady, I'm going to turn it over to you. How you been and what's popping, baby?
It's been good. I am so pumped baseball's back. A little worried there for a while, but these next couple weeks are going to be crazy. I'm excited to see what the summer is going to be like when it comes to baseball season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nate?
Hey, definitely good to be back. Been a long time, but we got a ton to discuss. We got NBA trade deadline just passed. We got NFL free agent signing. Baseball supposedly is back. So we got, and then obviously got March Madness. So we got a ton to go into. So definitely excited for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Minuteman Scott, why don't you introduce yourself? Let them know where they can find you, and
Hey, what's up, guys? Minuteman Scotty here. A lot of y'all see me maybe on different break cameras and whatnot, but we're actually here today talking about March Madness, and we'll probably hang out, do a little bit of NFL chat and MLB chat, and just have a little bit of fun with the crew.
Heck yeah, for sure. So one thing we got to do, we got to get something taken care of first and foremost. What's that? Oh, I think somebody must have been echoing. We got to get something taken care of first and foremost. We got to do the comment giveaway. So it's been about a month, I believe. Brady, you want to tell them how they can get involved in this real quick?
Yeah. So the way to enter is after this video posts tonight on YouTube. Go in and leave a comment. You can trash one of our takes if it's really bad. You can ask a question or a topic that you want to discuss on the next episode. I guarantee you it will not be a month in between our next episode. So
no.
Yeah, but go on to YouTube and leave a comment, and that'll enter you into the drawing. And then our next episode that we have, you will be entered in for $30 of PayPal.
PayPal.
Or $30 credit at Deafness's auctions. So.
And I'm gonna have one tomorrow night. We're gonna be ripping those back up here too. So here we go, guys. Here's who we got. Obviously, you can leave more than one comment, but you only get one entry in per comment. We love as many comments as you like because, again, at the end of the show, we always go through and cover these if we haven't already covered it throughout the show. Sometimes things come up or get brought up that we already discussed, that we've already answered. So we kind of let you know that. But here we go, guys. The people I got on here, I think we had 2, 4, 6. We had 7 different entries. So I'm going to shuffle this real quick. We always do the 7, the lucky 7 shuffle. Spin the wheel where it lands. And you can let us know what you'd like. So good luck, guys. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The icky shuffle. Let's go, baby. Who's it going to be? Adam Lilly, I believe. I believe he's won once before as well. Some people are probably saying #rigged, but it is what it is. Hey, here we are. So, congratulations, Adam. Appreciate you supporting. Appreciate you dropping comments and being a part of this. So let's get into it here, guys. So we have something crazy that happens once a year. Gets pretty exciting. There's a lot of upsets that usually stir and brew up this time as we start kicking in gear. We got some basketball madness happening, some March Madness happening. So I guess I want to first turn it over to Scott, and I want to let him. I'm going to actually share some on the screen as well as he's talking. I want him to kind of dive in and talk to the people about what you have going on to raise money for Crohn's and colitis.
Absolutely. Really, the main reason I'm here, and I actually reached out to the guys, was because I wanted to come on here and talk about Crohn's and colitis and the Minuteman Madness Ripping for the Cure March Madness bracket competition. We put this together. 100% of the proceeds go to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. A lot of people say, hey, what's Crohn's and colitis? I'll give you a quick 20-second of it. It's an intestinal disease that affects about 750,000 people here in America. I am not one of them. I just happen to want to do good things, and I love March Madness, much like probably most of y'all. This disease is typically diagnosed in teenagers before the age of 18. It's a chronic disease. It has no cure, but there is an expected cure. As long as it continues to get funded, they expect to get a cure in the next 10 years. Here's the issue. Because of COVID, a lot of their funding got cut. So they're needing extra effort from people like myself and others who are kind of stepping up and trying to fill in that little funding gap. So so hopefully soon, we have a little bit of fun with March Madness. People win prizes. We fund the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and a cure is found.
Okay. And let's kind of run through here. So we got some things I got something on the screen to show them.
I see that.
So prize-wise, it's how much to get in. One.
It's $5 per bracket, and you can get up to 5 brackets.
Okay. So it's 5 per bracket. And talk about some of the prizes that they can win here. That we got them on the screen, but kind of just
absolutely
some of the highlights, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so I went out of pocket on a lot of this stuff, or reached out to friends within the hobby and asked for some donations. I got this John Wall autograph, the grand prize of John Wall autograph full-size basketball. I loved it because it was kind of a wood grain basketball. It's pretty unique in that nature. I mean, there's others out there like it, but I really like this one. It really sticks out pretty good there. And also, it comes with a $100 gift card to Buck City Breaks. You get an autographed basketball, and you get some break credit to Buck City Breaks. The second prize, a University of North Carolina autographed basketball jersey. I really wanted to keep the top prizes kind of basketball related because this is for basketball fans. You also get a $25 gift card to Goats Card Breaks, along with 4 Minuteman Tickets shot glasses. I actually have one right here. It's laser engraved and metal. It's you could drop it on the floor after you have a shot, and you'll be all right. But that's second prize. Third place prize, a graded Bill Bradley autographed 8x10, along with a $25 gift card to Goats Card Breaks. Fourth place prize, the 2022 opening day MLB Hobby Box, and that actually comes from Break Club NFT. And then they go on and on. Basically, we got 15 prizes here. I think the prizing structure is as strong as it's ever been, much stronger than it was last year. And, we want a lot of people to win. So, 15 prizes, $5 to enter. You can do up to 5 brackets at $5 a piece. So it'll be $25 if you want to max out your chances to win. And let's just have some fun together. It's all going to be hobby guys anyway, so let's have some fun.
Awesome, man. Scott, I appreciate that. And the link. So down below in the description, if you go down and find Scott's, I got like his Twitter link there where you can find him. And then below that, there's actually the link to go to the website to get in. And basically the way it works, like he said, is because I struggle with this. I'm a computer guy and I'm pretty good about navigating things. But there's some things that maybe are really simple that I overanalyze or overlook at. And I've always been told, like, sometimes you overanalyze things and it annoys people, but it is what it is. So you basically, you pay through the thing. It's easy to pay. Like he said, you can do up to 5 of them. So you do 5 or however many, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever you want to do, however many brackets up to 5. And then they'll send you an email once you pay through with the link. You just click that link and then you go through and basically just make sure you get it filled out. And the most important thing, guys, is when you do it, make sure that you get in there and get your bracket filled out before this thing starts, so you have it locked and loaded and ready to go. So with that being said, and this is kind of what the site will look like this is all very safe. It's through a league safe thing. Scott's very particular about information being secure, etc. And that's why he does it through this website. So everything's good there. Everything should be set. So let's dive into this bracket a little bit, shall we? Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit more. I know, if somebody's on a phone or something, it's probably going to be tough to see, and hopefully you guys have the bracket at your house, or you have access to where you can see it. But as you're looking at this bracket for the men's March Madness tournament that's about to kick off here, What are some teams? And I guess I want to hear from you guys, and we'll go one at a time. Brady, just kind of go down the chute. We'll go Brady, we'll go Scott, and then we'll go Nate. And I'll give you guys my takes too, but I'll let you guys go first. What are some teams that I don't want to hear Gonzaga. I know that they're probably like the favorite going into this thing. I understand that. I get that. But anything's possible. We know that. We've seen this. What teams stick out to you guys? What upsets stick out to you guys? Where do you see things where there's someone ranked over the other team where you feel like the underdog has a shot going into these first rounds? And I'll start with you, Brady. Have you had a chance to look at this?
I filled out a bracket earlier today with my fiance, so that was pretty fun.
Right. All right.
But I'm going to take my Michigan Wolverines. They got a great draw. I mean, Colorado State is a good basketball team, but Michigan either plays really well or really terrible. So they're either going to get blown out by 20 or they'll win. So, but a team that I really like, and I think maybe a little bit of a wild card would be Houston. There was a lot of up in arms about their seeding. They didn't really like that they were a 5 seed. Obviously, they won their tournament. They were 14th in the country before the rankings came out. But they don't have many big wins. And this is going to be a big test to kind of see what kind of basketball team they are.
Right.
You got a decently easy game, UAB for round 1. That 5-12 matchup is always tough. That's where you see a lot of these upsets, 5-12, 6-11. But yeah, I keep an eye out for Houston, just as a team that to go out and prove something. So,
all right, Scott.
Yeah, we mentioned Michigan and that being a little bit of a homer play for him, or at least a favorite team of his. I'm actually originally from New England. I do live in Columbus, Ohio. I do agree Michigan does have a shot against Colorado State, but I'm going to run homer all the way up to the Vermont Catamounts.
Wow.
And, I think they got a shot here. They won their championship game by like 30, 40 points. So, and this is a team that has been in the NCAA tournament multiple times over the past few years. You're talking probably 6 out of the last 10 years or so, and that's just pulling off the top of my head. So don't kill me if I got my stats wrong, but it's something like that. And I think there's something about they just believe. They go in and they believe. I think they almost knocked off. It was like a 14-3 or something like that. They almost knocked off Kansas one year. So I like that. That would probably be an upset that I think you could take a look at. I like Davidson in the 10-7 matchup against Michigan State. They're very ball balanced and they shoot the free throws well. Teams that shoot free throws well do well in the NCAA tournament. Those be two in the first round. I'm eyeballing right there.
Okay, nice, Nate.
So I'm looking at the bracket right now, and there's actually a decent amount of teams that are like kind of like mid-lower seeds that cover like maybe go on a run. So one I'm looking at right now is North Carolina. They're currently the 8th seed, but they've been pretty hot at the end of the season. Obviously had the big win because Duke recently, so they got some momentum going in. The 3 seed Purdue, they've been playing pretty solid all season, so they kind of sleep at 3. Murray State, the 7th seed, they've been playing some good basketball as well. So that Eastern side where like it's like Baylor's the 1 seed, that's be a tough division. So that might be pretty much like a part of the bracket where it's be a bunch of upsets I can definitely see there. Outside of that, honestly, I think a Big Ten team is probably gonna come out this year because I mean you got somebody at Michigan State, you got Illinois, you got Iowa. Let's see what other teams got in here. Purdue. So
I'm looking at a couple of these too. Like so. And I don't know who they've really played throughout the season, but I'm looking at a 13 seed, like a South Dakota State. They're coming in this thing 30-4, right? Now again, haven't played probably the competition that a lot of these other schools have played that are sitting at 27 and whatever or 24 and whatever. But then you got someone like Murray State as well, 7 seed, sitting at 30-2. I do like the Davidson call. I do like the Vermont call. Vermont's sitting, and again, these records are really null and void here when it becomes tournament time, to be honest with you. But it's just kind of interesting looking at a lot of these. I mean, look at Alabama, 19-13. I mean,
there's some records in there that are a little bit weak this year. I think it shows parity across the entire NCAA, though.
Yeah,
Right.
like there's like no clear cut like dominant team. Like there's maybe up to 10, 12 teams that could realistically like win the tournament. So
right,
it's gonna be hard to pick. It's gonna be hard to pick a pretty good bracket, I think.
I want to run it back. I want to run it back to something Nate said. Nate mentioned Murray State, and they really could be one of the teams that make a run out there. Yeah. I think they've got a tough first round matchup with San Francisco, but if they can get to that second round game against Kentucky, you've got Kentucky, a young team, inexperienced in the NCAA tournament with athletic skill all over the board. But if you can get a regional matchup, a Murray State versus Kentucky, it's one of those matchups. Kentucky will never play that. But they don't want to see Murray State in round 2. I guarantee you that, boy. Regional matchup.
Yeah, I like that, man. That Murray State is just kind of sticking out there. I might have to see what the old bet lines are like on some of those Murray State games, because that thing might be a little cheesy. You might just want to slide in a little bit and get some of that action. We'll see as it goes on. Anything else, guys, that stick out as far as like March Madness, just in general, as far as looking at this bracket? Again, you're hearing a lot of talk about Gonzaga. I mean, again, anything can happen. What do you, if you were a betting man, would you put money on Gonzaga to win it all, or would you not?
It's terrible odds. I mean, not that I don't think they'll win, but I mean, I feel like my bracket today I had Arizona winning.
Yeah, what is? I haven't even looked at the odds yet on the. What is the odds?
Let me look.
Yeah, but I said like Gonzaga every year is probably like that team that should win, and then like they get tripped up either early or I think like last year they both were like in the Final Four or something.
I still remember when they first got on the map tournament. Remember that? That?
Gonzaga,
They were just a nobody.
Gonzaga plus 334, Kentucky plus 630, Arizona plus 640, Duke 1100, Kansas 1100, Baylor 1200, Auburn 1400, Nova 1800, Purdue 1900.
Baylor plus 1200. That's interesting.
What's Michigan?
They
down there.
Down there.
Down there.
Yeah, somewhere like plus
10, 20. 2,500.
No, it's like 10,000. It's like 10,000 or something like that.
Jeez.
Or 25,000, I guess is what I was trying to say. But yeah, all right, interesting, awesome. Anything else you guys want to add?
I just want to know. I want everybody's prediction of who's going to win.
Oh gosh.
Jeez.
Not betting, just who's going to win.
I mean, man, I'd say the parity's out there, so it could be anybody. I mean, a parity is out there this year. So for gambling, I would say run some of those longer odds. I mean, Villanova at 1,900, the 1,800 at Purdue's and stuff like that. But man, if you put a gun, I think maybe Kansas will do it this year. I think they can score some points, and they've played a lot of stiff competition, out of conference and in conference. So maybe Kansas, if you maybe go for it.
I want to see Murray State in the Final Four at least. Let's go. Let's go.
Nate, who do you got?
You can get some odds on that one.
I know I can.
I'm looking at the bracket because like I'm trying to look at like who has like the easiest matchup to get like to the Final Four. I'm like I was thinking Baylor, but Baylor has so many good teams in that bracket. So that's how the bracket. So I'm like, Baylor, Gonzaga, I just don't trust them to win. I need to go like they're probably get far, but they're probably gonna lose them at like Final Four. You know what? Sure, I'm gonna go on limb. I'm gonna say Auburn.
Ooh, going
Auburn. I'll go on limb. Why not?
Definitely, what do you think?
I'll go Auburn. Why not?
I mean, my thing was, as far as winning it all, going into this, probably Gonzaga. To be honest with you, like a lot of people are thinking, but I'm kind of on the same token of my man Scotty thinking maybe someone like Kansas could do it, could win it. So I think I'm gonna roll with Kansas, honestly, to win it. But I am taking Murray State to the Final Four, baby. Let's go. Let's ride it out. Let's ride it out. Don't go betting your houses on it. Definitely didn't tell you. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't condone any of this. All right. Anything else, guys, on that? Move on.
Yeah.
All right. I think we should probably pop on into the let's just get into some NFL news. You know, NFL has usually been a sport that was kind of at the tail end of this podcast because we were in season all the time. We saved kind of that meaty best for last. But there's a lot of other things brewing. You know, we got NBA. We got a bunch of stuff happening in the MLB. I mean, there's probably news happening right now as we're live, to be honest with you, the way things have been going in the MLB. But first things first, go ahead. Take your podium, Mr. Syrek. What happened? What was announced?
Tom Brady is back, and he's going to win a Super Bowl. That's what's
going to
happening.
Win a Super Bowl. All right.
No. Listen, the last 9 seasons, the season after he loses in the playoffs, he wins the Super Bowl. So he lost Super Bowl, lost Super Bowl, lost Super Bowl, lost. Now another Super Bowl. So you heard it.
Right. We'll see about that.
Hey.
I can go put my Brady jersey on if you'd like me to. I can do that.
Hey, you should be celebrating. I mean, as a Brady fan, that should be something you should be very high in celebrating on.
Yeah.
So, what's your guys' takes? I mean, we already know Brady's take, but what are your guys' takes on the whole Tom Brady coming back thing? Do you think he has it? Do you think the team's still set to make the run? Is this the right move for him? Should he have just stayed retired and let the poor guy that bought that football right before he announced he was coming back, the final touchdown, just let him have his his fame and whatnot, and now he's in misfortunes. What's your guys' take with the whole Tom Brady situation coming back?
Hey, bring him back, baby. Bring him back. Hey, we love it. It's probably the only time this episode we're going to talk about Michigan. I'm with Brady on this. One. Bring him back. Hey,
there you go.
You know, New England fan, we have a special heart for Brady, and quite honestly, it's going to be a better season with him back playing in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely good for the sport. No matter what people say, no matter how much if you don't like the guy, if you hate the guy, it doesn't matter. It is good for the sport. I mean, come on. Whether you want to admit it or not, he's obviously the best thing that's been around the NFL for many years now. So, Nate, what's your take, buddy?
I mean, you look at the NFC. I mean, it's definitely winnable for Brady. I mean, we got the Packers. You got obviously the Rams. You got probably the 49ers.
Aaron Rodgers has got to try to take a spotlight now again somehow because Brady's back in it. You know.
Yep. So Brady got a much easier, I guess, role to possibly get back to the Super Bowl. So I don't mind it. I mean, it was kind of like everybody was kind of surprised when we did retire. So I mean, I guess you can see how it is. I mean, that probably means Gronk probably gonna come back as well. I mean, you still got Mike Evans, you still got Chris Godwin, Fournette, everybody. So
there's a lot of quarterback movement that's been happening, right? There's a lot that's still kind of stirring in the NFL right now. So probably the biggest thing right now, obviously, biggest news besides the Brady's back news was obviously Russ going to get cooking Wilson in the Mile High in Denver. How much of an impact, how big does that play in Denver? Are they now a contending team? What's your opinions? Brady, go first.
I mean, they have all the weapons there, right? I mean, their wide receiving core is super young. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. You love, obviously, they're back. What's his name?
Javonte Williams.
Yeah, Javonte. He was obviously really good last year. They were really good defensively. Really good defensively last year, and obviously fired Vic Fangio after having a top 5 defense and trading Von Miller. So I don't have any doubt that they'll be able to compete offensively. I would love to see what they're going to do on the other side of the ball. Mm-hmm. I think you have to put them in a contention area, right? They're going to contend in that division. So they're a quarterback away offensively. So we got to see what the other side of the football looks like, to be honest.
State Farm. Schmo says Aaron Rodgers announces he's leaving State Farm and replacing Gecko. Let's go. Let's go, Woody. I saw your other comment earlier, too, about cashing in your crypto for Murray State. Let's make a run, baby. Let's make a run. All right, Scotty, what's your take on the whole Russ cooking in Denver?
You know, he kind of struggled a little bit last year. I mean, he had some offensive pieces, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, right? He had some pieces there in Seattle, and I think he struggled a little bit. And maybe I'm crazy. I just question him some. He does have young pieces in Denver, and the offense logically should do well. Right. But I just don't know. That's a tough division. Let's not forget, just today came out J.C. Jackson going from New England over to San Diego. Yeah. 5-year, $80-something million contract. They ain't signing up for chump change. This is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL that just got paired with Khalil Mack, who got traded to San Diego. They've got a defense. You've got offenses with Kansas City. I tell you, I don't feel like they're making the playoffs next year. It's probably a 500 season.
Wow.
I mean, they went 7-10 with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. So yeah, it's not like he's going to a 3-win team. So I mean, it's not a team that's completely decimated. That's why I think there's going to be competing there. It's just whether or not is his addition enough to get them over the hump. And I think the loss on defense is going to be the biggest question.
Right. Nate, you want to chime in on anything with that, or?
Yeah, I mean, things like pretty much Russell Wilson. I know like the biggest thing in Seattle was kind of like his offensive line wasn't really that good, so that pretty much that kind of started why he wanted to really, I guess, really like leave for Seattle. But I'm like, thing is like that division is gonna be tough now. Like I said, Chargers got J.C. Jackson now. They traded for Khalil Mack, so they would need that. They obviously got Kansas City with their offense. Defense maybe a little questionable, but they don't want to talk about this. Like Derek Carr is the worst quarterback in that division, which is pretty wild to kind of say.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, they probably will be like maybe like a 9-10 win team. I think. It is that like. Again, like a lot of people back from like injury. I know, of course, someone like was out for a little bit. Jerry Judy was hurt for a little bit. So, and then obviously they lost North. Like, well, they traded North Fant. So Albert, I don't know if I pronounce his last name, but Albert. We'll say Albert. We'll say Albert.
Yeah.
We'll see. Make sure he could take that leap forward, be like that security blanket still. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, again, I think I'm kind of sided with what Brady says as far as I think they can be in contention, but I think, like you said, there's a lot of question marks there on that defensive side of the ball. The offense is there. I mean, again, I'm going to say it one more time, but I said this last year. I said that I feel like Javonte Williams is one of the best young running backs in the league and could be one of the best running backs in the league if he stays healthy. And I'm still going to stand by that. My next thing is going to be I see the Trubisky talk to the Steelers. We're going to bring that. We're going to talk about that as well. We will get there, but I want to touch on a couple other quarterback pieces before we get there. So Deshaun Watson, right? He already said no. Who did he say no to? He said no to God dang it, I didn't write it down. He said no to one of the teams that was after him. And then the Colts are not letting him apparently talk to, or they're not letting Watson talk to him. So it's down to the Saints and what was the other team?
I heard the Panthers were in it. Are they still in it?
Saints and Panthers. Those are the two teams right now that are in the Watson hunt. Oh, the Eagles. He turned down the Eagles, Nate, is what I heard. I heard he turned down Philadelphia. That was another one that was in the queue. That's the most recent news I read, and I read that not too long ago before we came on here.
That's interesting. I mean,
yeah.
Did they say why, or they say
I didn't. Again, I didn't have a chance to read it all. It said Watson. The headline was like Watson Watson, I guess, whatever, says no to Eagles. Saints and Panthers are the two people in the mix. So
do you guys think that? Do you guys think that was maybe because he's kind of like the same quarterback as Hurts?
I mean, yeah, in a way, yes. I mean, they're both from his like, guys that could obviously run. I mean, obviously Watson is the better passer between two, but yeah, I mean, they're pretty similar, I guess.
I mean, Watson's more athletic. Just in general, I think Wentz is good, but I just think the athletics can't even speak. Yeah, he's more athletic. I don't know. So Saints or Panthers, what's the better landing spot for Watson? What do you guys think?
I don't know how the Saints can even trade for him. Aren't they like $75 bajillion over the cap?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. Panthers, I think, would make more sense. You got a couple years left with CMC there. I think they're probably in a lot better cap situation.
We got
I also don't
have some big receiving core.
Yeah, I don't love the Saints right now with Breeze obviously gone, and they've been trying to figure this out with Jameis and the whole Taysom Hill kind of being paid like a quarterback, but filling in this hybrid
Michael
role.
Thomas.
Kamara's obviously there, but then Sean Payton leaving. Do we even know what that situation is going to be like? It just doesn't seem very stable, and I feel like not that the Panthers are like super stable, but I feel like right now Deshaun needs something stable, and so
I agree.
I don't know if either of those situations are stable enough for him, but if those are the only teams searching right now, not much you can do about that.
Right. Schmo says Philly has lousy massage parlors. Taking shots. Taking shots, baby. All right. And then two more quarterback things right now. We got some other news in the NFL too. We'll touch on, but so my Vikes decide that they're going to just pay the 1-year extension. There's not much else to do. And yes, maybe it's an L. We'll see what O'Connell can do if he can get us on offensive line. You got to remember he was ranked 4th in the NFL passing completion, and he didn't have an offensive line last year. So if O'Connell can do some work, make some magic, I'm going to be okay with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota for one more season. But I think one more season's it. I think that's it, and I think we move on. I think we go elsewhere. We bring in someone or look to try to find a quarterback. It's maybe a Tom Brady in the midst of the college that's a deep pick that'll be like one of the best ever. Who knows? You never know what'll happen, right?
Definitely. Here's my question. This extension was for 2023. So he's fully guaranteed the next 2 seasons.
Okay.
So no, he's fully guaranteed at $40 million this year, and then this was an extension for the next 2023. So my question was, why did they feel the need to make that commitment? Like, you guys are at such a transitional period. Like,
Here's why I think it is, because I think we tried to sell him, market him, whatever you want to call it, and I just think the money was it's just too much, right? The teams that were maybe interested, semi-interested, just didn't want to take that hit for him, And I think I knew in the end we were going to be stuck probably at least a year with him. I mean, let's be honest, man. The money that they put out it was ridiculous. But again, we sit here and we complain about him and we talk about him. And and it's funny because when I see a lot of people like on the social media platforms and some of these beat writers and whoever, and they're like, it's just crazy to me that, so many people want this guy gone. And like reality is look at his numbers and look at his production. And I bring it up all the time when people like try to say, oh, he sucks and whatever. Well, yeah, he really doesn't suck. He's at the top of the heaps in the last however many years. He's throwing for over 4,000 yards just about every season, the last how many seasons, with a 70+% completion percentage. It's not like he's throwing 1,000 yards or 2,000 yards and has a 70% completion, rating. I mean, his QB rating's up there. Like, he just needs an offensive line. Could you imagine if the guy had an offensive line? I mean, it would be over with Justin Jefferson and the boys, man, are you kidding me?
His touchdown to interception ratio is beautiful. I mean, there is nobody could say he's turning the ball over in the air.
Right. They just, it's always gonna hang with them. It's just he's one of those guys that it's the guy that everybody loves to hate. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way.
I agree. I agree.
I don't hate him more than Rodgers, so it's fine.
Right. Yeah.
I had to get that in for balls.
There you go. There's Tom T. If Cousins on Rams? ? LOL. Right? Because he's got to take a shot at Stafford. Because Stafford went out and got a Super Bowl. Tom can't take it. Oh, Tom's got to rub that. He's got to make some kind of sense of it. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to the Mitch Trubisky to the Steelers. Let's talk about another quarterback here. So, guys, will the real Mitch Trubisky please stand up, or is there a real one? I mean, come on, guys. Like, if you're a Mitch Trubisky believer, well, let's see what happens here in Pittsburgh. And, Brady, are you really a believer, or were you just a Mitch guy because he was on the Bears when he was on the Bears? Or are you past Mitch Trubisky now?
I'm not a Mitch Trubisky believer that he's going to be a franchise quarterback. I don't think that's the case. But I am a very much believer that I wanted him to get another shot because I don't think he was treated very well at all in Chicago. He was a part of a decimated offense, a terrible coaching staff that didn't even use him in the correct way. After he was third in the NFL in QBR by using his legs, getting him outside the pocket, and then Matt Nagy turns him into a pro-style, let's drop back and throw, which is never his strength. And then he was almost scapegoated out of town. I just didn't like the way that entire thing happened. And I was hoping that he would get another shot. And I think he obviously being with Josh Allen last year with the Bills probably helped him. And there was a market for him. So don't think Pittsburgh was a one-off team that was just trying to make him their starting quarterback. There was multiple teams that viewed him as an upside guy. And now we're going to see. Mitch, there's no excuse now. This is your second chance. Go make something of it. You have all the weapons in the world. You have Mike Tomlin as a head coach. Yeah. There's no excuses anymore.
Right. You got a good running back. You got the weapons. I've brought this up before, right? I've talked about this before. I just don't understand the Mitch hype. I never have. Like he broke a record at North Carolina when he played one season in North Carolina. I get it. Players do that. They do one season. They come in the NFL. They have very successful careers. He played one season in North Carolina. He broke some passing record in North Carolina playing at UNC football. Like, I don't know. I mean, how many big teams, how many competitive teams did he play even in college that one season that he broke this passing record, right? I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess we lost Scott. Oh, Scott had to take a break. He can't take any more Mitch talk. He had to leave.
See, that doesn't matter in the NFL, right? It's about projection and because Trey Lance was a top pick this year and he played at North Dakota State. You think they played anybody?
No, that's not what I know. That's not what I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general, like he played one season at UNC, right? One season he played. That's it. Mm-hmm. And like there's so many people and I'm not saying you think he's the greatest. You even said you don't believe he's a franchise quarterback. But there were so many people that were the Mitch hype, and this dude is just craziest. He's going to be the best ever. And I just never understood it. Like I never understood where it came from and how people actually saw that. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying like you think he's the greatest. You already said that. You don't feel he's a franchise quarterback, and I agree.
I do think people kind of Monday morning quarterbacked his situation because a lot of people can look back easily now and go, Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. There were a lot of people who get paid a ton of money to try to develop quarterbacks that had Mitch as their number one quarterback. And we can talk about why that is. I think a lot of it is we see it this year. There's no number one quarterback. So every analyst has their reasoning of why why do they like Pickett? Why do they like Corral? Why do they like Howell? And for whatever reason that year, Mitch was the guy that kind of the industry decided as this moldable kind of future quarterback that the NFL likes to see. And so it wasn't, I mean, that's the one thing I like to tell people. There was a lot of teams that would have liked to take Mitch Trubisky that year. There were a handful of teams that liked Deshaun Moore. There were a handful of teams that liked Pat Mahomes. But I guarantee you on a lot of boards, and there's a lot of people that know what they're doing, they had Mitch Trubisky number 1 on their board. So it's just kind of how it happens in the NFL sometimes.
Hey, we got my boy Fester. Shout out Fester. Balls is in here. Schmo is keeping it going. The hobbyist. Appreciate you guys. Everybody that's in here. Jim, Jaybird, Bogarts. Nate's even commenting, keeping the comments going as well. Who else? Who else we miss? We miss anybody? Balls. Infester's a UNC guy. And, I mean, I'm sure he's going to stand behind him, you know, being a UNC guy. And I get that, as you should, especially as being a fan of that. Ball says, you know, Mitch will always be his guy. And, yeah, man, I mean, and again, everybody sees things differently. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's opinions are different. That's what the beauty of it, the love of it is. And that's why we're here right now talking, right? Let's see. Fester said it's only because he was overdrafted and then took the Bears to the playoffs.
That's another thing. People forget that he led the Bears down the field with 30 seconds left and had a chip, a 40-yard field goal that Cordy Parkey had tipped and blocked. So
double doinker.
Yeah, for real. I honestly think that play in itself changes the trajectory of the Bears right there.
It does. It does.
All right. Bogarts, what's up, man? You guys want to chime in at all, Scott or Nate? Either one of you guys on the whole Mitch deal?
Just real quick, you know, he's walking into a 3-quarterback battle there, right? I mean, you got Mason Rudolph. You got Dwayne Haskins from the Ohio State University. And you got Mitch Trubisky. So I think he's going to have an opportunity. And if you're Mitch Trubisky, you got to be happy with where you landed. That's what I got to think.
I did see the contract.
I want to see him succeed. Don't get me wrong. I want to see him succeed. I want to see everybody succeed.
I personally, I don't think that contract's quarterback battle money. I don't know if you give him $15 million to come in and battle for the starting job. I think it's his job, and if he does something terrible, he'll lose it. But I bet you it's his job.
I mean, yeah, they're basically saying since they signed him, he's the guy. But again, if he doesn't perform,
they have
Rudolph. Can't make it happen.
Yep.
It's gonna be a battle, or it's gonna be a thing like Scott's talking. Nate, anything?
Honestly, I think Mitch Trubisky gonna do pretty well in Pittsburgh. Assuming he wants the starting job. I mean, he got tons of weapons, got a solid offensive line. The defense is good. So as long I think like Matt Canada's like the offensive coordinator there. Like as long as he plays to Trubisky's strength, like get him out of pocket, get him on a run. Make sure he just kind of like plays them solid. Just don't try to do anything crazy, but just play within your strengths. And then I think they could play very well. Get like 10, 11 wins, possibly maybe AFC North.
Okay. I mean, yeah, again, and don't get me wrong. This is the def just sit here and bash Mitch thing. This is just, I want to see him succeed, but I need to see it, man. I need to see it. Like it has, and if he doesn't do it here in the spot that he's put in, it's not happening. Like, and hopefully he does. Hopefully he succeeds. Like honestly, hopefully he does. I mean, I've always had a side for the Steelers just in general. Anyway, like it used to be my boy's favorite AFC team, and I used to just always kind of ride with him on the AFC side, you know, back in the day. But it is what it is. So, all right. A lot of Jags are making a lot of moves here too, guys. Christian Kirk gets paid. They got Evan Ingram. They picked up a Pro Bowl offensive lineman, a guard, I think, as well.
Yeah, a Brandon Scherf, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to move. Huh?
Zay Jones just signed there too.
Zay Jones, as long as he's not flying out of hotel rooms or through the windows thinking he's Superman, all is good. All is going to be good in Jacksonville. So yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that when he was in Buffalo. He was drafted by Buffalo, right?
Yeah,
he was
Buffalo. Yep. So it was like his second. I think it was his second year, maybe his second year. He must have been on something, or I don't know. He was at a hotel, and he literally jumped out a hotel window. And then they asked him why he did that, and he said, "Because I thought I was Superman." So like on something, like legit. That's not a meme. That's not a whatever. That was like real life. Like he had to be checked in for a little bit, but it's good to see he's back. It's good to see everything's going good there. Anything else we need to highlight on the NFL signings that I'm overseeing or I'm missing here? We're not covering. Brady, you got the tracker on over there on your multi-monitor tracking device?
Yeah, J.C. Jackson obviously was a big one.
Which we touched on.
About Ryan Jensen, Tom Brady announcing when he did. You're going to see some of these Bucs start signing back. You know, when you didn't know the quarterback situation there, and then all of a sudden Tom Brady comes back, you are way more likely to listen to management saying, "Hey, you want to take a little bit of a pay cut so we can run this thing back."
About to have Kyle Trash as your quarterback.
Allen Robinson's the big name on the wide receiver market out there. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. And they're talking about the Lions a little bit, but Von Miller, where does he end up? So lots still happen, and I'm sure we'll see a lot happen over the next week or so.
Yeah,
right.
How about Jarvis Landry getting released today?
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm about mentioning like there's been a ton of players get released. Jarvis Landry got released, Mark Cooper, Bobby Wagner.
So where is he gonna land?
Cooper got traded. Cooper got traded up to Cleveland.
He got traded.
Yep. Amari Cooper. Yeah.
They just threatened to release him. They said, "Hey, we're going to release you if you don't figure something out."
Hey, don't ask Odell. He might have rather been released.
Hey, Cedric Wilson. Where did Cedric Wilson? He signed somewhere else too. He's not going back to Dallas. Dude, they have nobody but Gallup in Dallas now for receivers.
CD.
Huh?
CeeDee Lamb.
Oh yeah.
They're with the Dolphins.
But still, they're like they got rid of Coop and Cedric Wilson was like that X factor last year for them when they were going through things.
I will say the wide receiver in the draft, it's very, very deep. So it's very deep.
Right.
So
but that Christian Kirk deal.
Dolphins. He went to the Dolphins. Cedric Wilson went to Miami.
Yeah. Kirk's deal is insane.
Yeah, like 4 years, like upwards, like $84 million. Like, Christian Kirk. I mean, like he's a solid receiver and all, but
he's making.
Oh, I know it's crazy. It's crazy money, but yeah. But that's cool for me because I'm a big Rondell Moore fan. Hopefully that means he's gonna be like that receiver too now, take Kirk's spot. Hopefully. So he should, man. He's so talented. All right. Anything else we got to touch on the NFL side? Are we good to move on?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Do we want to do NBA or MLB next?
Let's save MLB to the end.
The end? Yeah, we'll keep that our bread and butter tonight since there's a lot going on there. Yep. All right. So a lot happening in the NBA as well as we continue to move forward and closer to playoff time here. Man, one thing that kind of sticks out that I look at is, a team that you would always think is going to be for sure in the mix and going to be at the top. Well, let me get Scott back in here. He had to pop out again. Is the Lakers. And I'm just touching on this real quick because the old man King James became the first player to have 30,000 points, 10,000 assists, and 10,000 rebounds. So he's a 30-10-10 guy. K. Put a K after those 30-10-10s. Which is pretty amazing, and he's doing it pretty much all right now with everybody else out. He's got Russ Bum Wilson or Westbrook with him that they don't know what to do with. I mean, this guy, I've been saying it for a while. I've never been a fan of him anyway, but it is what it is. So, what do the Lakers even stand a chance right now to make it in, or are they just done?
I think they win their first playing game and then lose the second one.
Okay.
Because they'll play the 9 and the 10 will play, and then they'll have to play the loser of the 7 and 8. And I don't even know if they make it in. It's bad. I was even seeing saw a clip yesterday of just the effort. LeBron 3 minutes into a game, the score was 6-6, and they're just like walking up and down the floor. He doesn't want to be there anymore. He understands the team can't compete, and at this point, it's just like give me to the end of the season. I'll try to carry us into a playoff series, and then we'll go home.
Right. Any other take on the Lakers from you guys? I
guess one thing for me is the effort definitely has been like up or down this season. Cause like I see so many clips like maybe like you see somebody like Rich Jumper like transition like I said, LeBron they walking down the court, or like Westbrook is kind of like jogging down, but he's not getting like full effort. I'm like, gee, like, I don't know, it's bad.
Yep.
It's bad.
You know what was fun Saturday night? I had the game on. You know what was fun? Watching our boy Klay Thompson, after everything he's been through, finally just go off and have a night.
Yep.
Right? That was fun. And if you guys like watching Steph like make every attempt he could to get Klay the ball, or any other teammate get Klay the ball so he can continue to try to pop threes. And like every time he'd hit one, like Steph like be like looking like dancing for him, like when Klay's like doing his thing, like just having fun. And I bring that up too because Draymond Green is actually back tonight. He said he'd play about 20, 25 minutes. And you got Wiseman still recovering, getting ready to come back as well. So the Warriors are gonna be a team that are gonna be, once they're fully healthy, they're gonna be up there. They're gonna be tough. You got the Suns that are already in. They've been just balling lights out. You got Devin Booker, who's just been on a tear. I mean, obviously with everybody else out, he's had to kind of carry the team, but he's continued to carry it. So and get the job done. So let me ask you guys this: as of right now, who is your MVP in the NBA? Who would you take as the MVP? And I'll throw the names that I see on the tops: Embiid, Joker, Morant, your boy DDR, DeRozan. I know he's like down, but you got to put him in the midst because he's probably 4 or 5 if you were to look at where they're looking at on odds. So who are you taking? Who is your MVP? And we'll start with you.
Honestly, I want to stick with Embiid, but things like the James Harden deal might cut into that because I was like, oh, we got another superstar player with him. But I'm gonna stick with Embiid for right now. But it's kind of close up there now. You got Giannis coming playing some good ball. Obviously Jokic. So maybe a little John Morant might sneak in there for a little couple votes. Right. So, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with Embiid.
Embiid. Brady?
Yeah, I agree. I would go with Embiid.
You're going to go Embiid over Joker, huh?
Yeah. I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, I think them surging up in the East is obviously helping them. Yeah. I think James Harden is I think it might hurt his MVP chances a little bit, but they're a way better team with him on there. So, I think Embiid's had a great season.
Vikings.
I'd love to say DeMar, but he's falling off a little bit.
No, I know you want to say it. And I just had to add that in there because he's on the list, like down a little bit. And I knew I'd get that look like, dude, he's not. Why? He's not even really gonna be the talk. Like I get the Brady look. Like why are you even saying that? But I had to throw it in there.
But they like DeMar had a crazy stretch though.
He did.
Absolutely, that was insane.
Absolutely, he had an incredible stretch, and even my boy, not that this is to be in the midst of MVP talks, but talking about the Bulls and DDR. Our boy Killa Caruso the other night had a pretty damn decent game too with the guys off. But I love that dude, man.
Dude, he's the X factor for the Bulls.
He'd be the best. Yeah, he's like one of the better 6 men out there right now. Like honestly,
but
and
the Bulls have slipped down the standings a little bit. And at this point, I've been chatting with my brother, and we're like, we don't even care as long as we're healthy come playoff time. If you give me Ayo Dosunmu, Alex Caruso, and Lonzo Ball guarding people, I'll take that every day of the week. Every day of the week.
Scott says he likes Embiid for MVP as well. So, and then, you know what? And like I said, I would say it's probably Embiid or Joker. It's kind of funny because I was hanging out in BITG's little whatnot stream last night for a while when I was getting ready for bed, and one of the guys that worked for him now or whatever at the shop, they were both live, but he had him kind of helping out like when he had to do something or this or that. And he was all in on putting the money on Ja Morant for MVP. And I was like, I don't see it. I'm like, I think it's either going to be Embiid or Joker personally, but it's insane. Like, I think we're all kind of in agreement. Like Embiid, I'm kind of like, is it Embiid or is it Joker? But I don't see Morant winning MVP. I mean, he would have to close out the rest of the season on an absolute tear, and Joker and Embiid slow down. You know what I mean? I think that's the only shot he would even have of doing it. And is it possible? Sure. I mean, anything's possible, but it's not going to be easy for him. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. So, did you guys see the Bills just signed the Vikings signed former defensive tackle Harris Phillips, reportedly inks 3-year deal, just under $20 million. So that just popped in.
That's a good signing. Yes, he's a pretty underrated player.
Yep.
Really so.
The Tom is sold. Congratulations, my buddy Cobra. Cobra hit a 1-of-1 Tom Brady select that we triple sent in and got graded. He hit it on the Super Bowl break, the big Super Bowl break at Triple Diamond Sports Breaks. He hit a 1-of-1. He got a Gem 10. He sold it. He sold it. It's been sold. So congrats, Cobra.
Yeah, congrats.
Happy for you, man. It's a life-changing card to sell there, buddy. That'll put some money in your pocket for a while. Embiid and Joker are playing right now on ESPN. Great game. Embiid better numbers early. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do have that on the TV, but thing is, I think Embiid's like in foul trouble. So
Tom T likes his boy Cade Cunningham for Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to be between him and Mobley, Evan Mobley.
Yeah, but say like I don't know who else.
Who else, Brady? Don't give me those looks without coming back with something.
Franz
Don't do
Wagner.
it.
Franz Wagner.
No way.
No, he's not going to be Rookie of the Year, but for a late lottery pick, he's been playing out of his mind.
You know who else beast finally if Christian Wood wasn't there, he would be an absolute monster. And I actually drafted him on my season-long basketball team, like before the season started. And I literally got from half the guys in my league, this is how much they pay attention to shit. It was deep in the draft. I picked up Sengun. I drafted Sengun. They're like, Sengun? Who's Sengun? I'm like, dude, you obviously don't know. He goes when Wood's out, just puts up monster numbers, fills the stat line.
Top 5, Mobley at minus 650, Barnes at plus 500, Cunningham plus 600. Giddy from Oklahoma City. He's been playing really well. Plus 1,800.
Yeah,
Franz Wagner plus 3,000. Io DeSumo is 6th at plus 10,000.
Everybody say, "Hey, yo!" I love it, man. That's my boy.
Josh Giddey, he does it really good. Like he has a solid overall game. Good little score, rebound.
He's a dude, man.
That's a pretty good passer too. So.
Giddy's a dude, and he's got that swag too. Like he's got the little long hair swag, like the little surfer California boy. Look. So it's interesting. All right, what else we got? Oh yeah, here's what I want to know, guys. Nets. Let's talk about it a little bit, and I want to actually talk about yesterday and Kyrie Irving actually being able to attend the home game as a fan, watch the game, and not be able to play in the game.
Yeah.
And then did you hear what happened? The Nets got fined $50,000 because they allowed him in the locker room at halftime.
It's a stunt. That's what it is. It's just
it's a money thing. It's just
it's so stupid.
Makes no sense at all.
You can literally be in the same facility, like almost court, half court, almost right there, but you can't be on a court and play basketball.
But things like is that like an NBA thing, or is that like New York City? Because I know New York City recently, I'm pretty sure they got rid of the indoor max mandate thing. So like, is that like an NBA rule?
Yeah, it's
or like a Barclays Center rule.
Yeah, I think it's the Brady can maybe pull it up quick while he's jamming on his trackers over there. But I think it's the centers. I think it's like but it's player. It would be player based rule because he could be at the game as a fan, right? So it obviously wasn't a just personal in a stadium thing. General, it would have to be him as a player playing.
Because like I was trying to look up seeing who instituted that rule. So like I wasn't sure who the NBA still kind of had that or like a Barclays Center, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
I agree. I agree. Ja will win MVP. In the next few years, probably.
I think so too.
Yeah, I can see it. Minuteman Scott says that signing will help the Vikings versus Aaron Jones.
Here's Phillips.
Bogart says F the Nets organization. I agree.
Rule for New York employees.
Yeah, it said letting him in the locker room violated New York City law and league health and safety protocols, saying that the locker room is considered part of the team's workplace environment, but the stands so he can sit next to his teammates on the bench, but going into the locker room, it's just stupid at this point. It's just it's these dumb games to try to virtue signal that you care, and it's this like asinine just contradiction of people and different policies, and it's just like he literally was at the ACC tournament the day before, sitting and watching the games. It's just like it's so stupid.
I agree. But our boy Schmo, he says, rule for New York employees, and it's rules are rules. But again, it's just there's just no sense in the matter of it, right? Like we say, he can actually be there. He can sit right next to his teammates. Hell, he can even go give KD a hug at the end of the game. Like, he's right there on the court at the end of the court. KD goes over there and gives him a big hug and giving him all the credit for what he's wearing, like his coat. Like, ooh, look at you, Joe Schnazzy, with your big old nice $50,000 jacket or whatever he's wearing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. It's a private sector thing. Policy, Fester says. Yep. Schmo says rule. It's politics and sports mixed with PR. Yeah. I mean, I agree, Scott. And, we don't really get into the politics here. That's not what this channel's ever been about. Everybody to each their own and their opinions. But, it's a sports thing, right? We're going to touch on it, talk about it if it's sports related. All employees in that area and workers have to get it to work there. That's why he has to, but they will lift it soon. Well, hopefully it'll soon. Here, Jaybird says he likes Tyler Hero as a sixth man. Hero's, yeah. I mean, he's good. He's good. He's just Hero's the type of player that's really reliant on his shot making, hitting his shots. If he doesn't hit his shots, he doesn't. If he's off, he's off. He's not a guy that will contribute a lot on a lot of the other peripheral game, right? So he's more of a shooter. His shot's got to be going in to fill up the stat line. But all right. Anyway, let's see what else we got. What else we got in the NBA that I'm missing? All right, guys. Here we go. Who is your teams to represent the Eastern and the Western Conference in the finals? As of right now, where it stands. Who do you got?
Jeez.
I know. Making you think tonight, right? We haven't done this for a while. It's like the kid that skipped school for a month and comes back and by the way, we got a test today.
What is the timetable on Chris Paul? Do we know?
Oh, that's
I don't. Someone in chat does, or if maybe Nate knows.
I think when the injury happened, I think it was like 4 to 6 weeks, but I forgot when the actual injury happened. Let me see.
Because my first thought is Suns Bucks is my thought, but the Suns is contingent on Chris Paul being healthy because they're a completely different team when he's not.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So according to it's February 20th, Chris Paul is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks.
So that puts him first week of playoffs almost.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so I'll do. They can get through a round or two without him. They're that good. I'll go Suns Bucks.
Okay. I'm seeing Philly Phoenix. I'm seeing a lot of Suns. I'm seeing Golden State from our boy Balls. Appreciate Balls hanging out with us tonight. Miami. Ball saying maybe like a Miami Golden State. That's interesting. That's a good one. Joby One up in the building. Joby One, man. Miss you, brother. I hope you've been doing well. Good to see you. Suns, Bulls, Bucks, Nuggets. Okay. So let me just kind of break it down if you guys are already looking at. So Miami's at the top on the Eastern, 45 and 24. Sixers are right there, 4 games back. Bucks are a game behind the Philly. Bulls are basically a game back from the Bucks. And well, the Celtics and Bulls are pretty much neck and neck. Cleveland, I think Cleveland's got a team that I think they're going to be a tough team here in the next year or two. I think they're going to be a very, 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 very tough team if they keep everybody together here. And then you got the Raptors and the Nets like lingering, and they're and then you got the Hawks just underneath on the Eastern side, and then you have in the Western you got the Suns already locked up. You got the Grizz behind them, and I honestly, as much as the Grizz have made a great run and they've been playing lights out, and I'm a fan. Everybody should be a Ja fan. He's a different breed. And it's exciting. It's brought NBA. It's made NBA fun again. When you watch games like someone like him. The Warriors. I think the Warriors jump up over the Grizz, in my opinion. I think they get to that 2 spot, in my opinion. You got the Jazz in 4, Mavs at 5, Nuggets at 6. My T-Wolves look like they might be playing in the playoffs this year. Okay. Not that they're going to do much, but hey, it's something. We're baby steps. Clippers, and then you got those Lakers hanging on down below, 7 games back from the Clips. So yeah, you got a lot of Suns talk, Warriors, Denver talk. We got Miami, Sixers, Bucks talk, Bulls talk. And honestly, we've always been a Bull. We've always been a fan of the Bulls this season and what they have as a team, I think, in general. I mean, obviously, Nate's a Sixer guy too, a Philly guy, so he's got to run with his squad, which I agree. They're solid, especially with getting Harden. But I think man, I don't see the Bucks. I don't see the Bucks getting very far this year. I don't with what it looks like they're going to have to probably go up against in where these teams are. I personally don't see the Bucks going deep. Just my opinion. It's just how I see things right now. I think the Bulls, I think the Sixers, and I think the Heat. Yeah, I think one of those 3 teams from the East are going to be who represent in the finals. And then on the Western side, the Suns are just going to be so tough. But I think if it's not the Suns, it's going to be the Warriors, in my opinion. And again, you got to remember, I think it's either your brother or Tim. I don't know what Syrek's.
My brother.
That's your brother. All right, your brother's in there. And he's talking about like Patrick Williams. Yeah, he's coming back soon. He's been out. Lonzo has been out, right?
Yep.
I mean, they've been running with a lot of these guys. Like, they haven't ever been fully healthy, and they've been sitting there just 2, 3, 4 pretty much all season.
And to be fair, their defense has been the thing that's really lacked, right? They've had DeRozan, they've had Levine, they've had Vucevic. Right. But when you're missing Lonzo and Caruso, who are great defenders, and Patrick Williams, who's a great defender, that's where the uptick's going to be.
Yep.
Right.
They could go and compete in the playoffs right now, but they're going to have to outscore teams. And I don't know if I trust them to go outscore teams. But all of a sudden you have – and the other thing that's kind of been a great thing for the Bulls, Io doesn't get this playing time without these guys getting hurt.
Right.
Some of these other guys that have had to step up, and it's
the experience too.
Yeah, it's depth and experience now. Yep. It'll be interesting to see. That's why I don't care what the record is. I just want them to be healthy when it comes playoff time, and then we'll see how the cards fall.
As long as they're not, and that's a good point. As long as if they're sitting at like 4 or 5 somewhere in there, that's almost better than. As long as they're not sitting at 7 or 8, and they got to play like the 1 or 2 seed first off, right?
And think about this. I don't know if I'm a 1 or 2, I don't want to see the Nets first round. That's not a team I want to see.
Not at all.
So being 3 or 4 might be better than being.
I agree.
2. So
I agree. I 100% agree with that. Yep, I 100% agree with that for sure. So, all right. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to say, hey, guys, one other thing we want to touch on, too, and we need to bring it up because it was posted. We talked about this kind of pre-game. Where are the Wolves? The Wolves are, I talked about them. I touched on them. They're in the 7. They're 39 and 30. They're 900, or they're 900. They're 9 games above 500, which is insane. That's huge. That's, they're finally getting that chemistry. They're finally gelling, right? We talked about it before. Towns and D'Angelo Russell, since D'Lo's been with the Wolves until this season, when they were together for a year and a half, roughly, they had played like 10 or 12 games total together in a season and a half, and that's it, together at the same time. One player was out or the other player was out. So they never had a chance to gel. And then you throw Ant in the mix now, who's just a whole different story and on a different level. And he just continues to get better and better every day. It's coming together, which is a beautiful thing to see. So, but the one more thing I want to touch on in the NBA as well, real quick, and it's kind of going back to the whole Kyrie thing, but it's touching on the Kyrie and the James Harden situation, right? I don't know if many of you guys saw this or not, but there was some things posted that apparently, in practice, when Harden was still with the Nets here not too long ago, Kyrie would basically just outplay him, out hustle him in practice, and just basically, like a playground, he would just ball over him, just ball on him. And apparently he had said some things, something like he basically told Harden he was washed up. You're old, you're washed up. And that's apparently what started the whole, from that time on, that's when the whole Harden wanted to get out. He was no longer wanting to be a part of the Nets. And, you go back and you look at some of the things and you think about it, though. Like, you think about the mental aspect of the game. Think about the mindset, whether people say it affects them or it doesn't, players, whatever. He did not have a good game against Brooklyn. He did not have a good game. And that was his time. That's how I felt like his time, just like KD and them came out and like gave it their all and shined. That was his time to kind of do that. And again, who knows? Maybe they'll have that shot. Maybe they'll meet up and get to play again here in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. The finals, whatever. But just another interesting side note, interesting side take. And then what was the other thing too that somebody in the NFL said something? Was it Cooper that made that comment about Dak and about how he was?
Oh yeah, I saw
like
that.
Kirk Cousins. He was like Kirk Cousins. Like, damn, man. Everybody hating on Kurt. What's up with that? That's crazy, man. It's crazy talk. All right. Are we good on the NBA? You want to move on to the MLB? Kind of finish it off here.
Yep.
We'll get into more hockey here when we get our boy Balls back. He's our NHL specialist here. He goes and he makes sure he attends these hockey games and gets all the insight and scoops. So we get him back in on the pod here on the panel. We'll start talking some hockey. It's gonna get playoff time here soon anyway. Both Sixers team was flat against. I agree, Schmo. I agree. But I just feel like there had to be some mental stuff going on in there too. Like there is. There is. I mean, he just leaves that team. He just gets traded. There's a lot of questions, a lot of things in the air, whatever you want to, however you want to take it, however you want to read it. I don't know. It just seems like a lot going on there. So let's start in the MLB. A lot of movement, a lot of things happening. A lot of heartbreaking tweets today, hearing about Freddie Freeman's not going to stay with Atlanta. I think Twitter almost burned down today in the hearts of Atlanta fans, if you want to say that. So we'll get into the Freddie Freeman thing. We have to make it apparent that Brady wanted me to make sure. I forgot to put the clown face on Manfred, but that Manfred's a clown. So we got to make that clear on this pod here. That's why he's on the thumbnail, but I forgot to put his clown face on him. That's my bad. But let's start with some news with I guess you call him a superstar, right? Fernando Tatis. knee surgery, out at least 3 months. They're saying, right?
Mhm.
3 months knee surgery going to be out. So, what does San Diego do? Are they going to be all right? Are they going to be okay with Tatis being out? I mean, you're losing a superstar. You're losing one of your top bats, top players. Now I know the airs will be down, but on the fielding. But go ahead. Can't hear you.
It's wrist surgery for Tatis.
I thought it was knee.
No, apparently it was because of a motorcycle accident, and
Oh, I guess I read it wrong. I don't know.
yeah.
I thought they said knee.
The baseball season is long enough. They're a really good team. They're looking to add still. They have a top prospect, CJ Abrams. He might be too far away to come up and fill that gap for a little bit, but they'll figure it out. They have enough money. They're spending enough money though. The baseball season's long enough. They'll be fine.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so like the whole Freddie Freeman thing and all that. So Atlanta picks up Matt Olson. They get the RBA Kings batter or whatever his batting stance. He's like one of the guys in one of the old baseball games because like how his stance is. You know, he holds the bat out. Like he holds it out like this. You guys ever see it? Nate, you ever seen him? There's like an actual like there was a game in like one of the old famous like Super NES games or one of the NES games. There was a batter that has the exact same stance, like the identical stance, and the dude just mashes balls. I don't know how he does it. He's good, and I better not say anything wrong or bad about him because Jim F's in here, and I might get sniped when I walk out my front door next time I leave the house. But what is Matt Olson? Is Matt Olson what do you feel he's an equivalent? Do you feel he's an upgrade, or do you feel he's a downgrade for old Freddie Freeman?
Go ahead, Nate.
I'll probably say upgrade. I mean, I think I'm obviously younger, but like I really see like it's really like his overall stats compared to Freddie Freeman. But I know he's definitely been mashing like past like couple of years, so I think this is probably would be an upgrade. I know Atlanta gave up a ton for Olsen as well, so
yeah, Shmo, I know. I read that wrong earlier when I was grabbing the info. My bad. Yeah, I know. I said knee. Yeah, you can see the stance again.
Well, I think I don't know if it's better for them next year. I think it's one of those things that's better long term for them. I would be hard convinced to think that if Atlanta was trying to run this back for one season, I think everybody would choose Freddie Freeman. But he's 32. He was asking for a 6-year deal, it sounded like. So you take him to year 38 now.
Yeah.
And instead, now you're paying a 27. You have 2 more years of a 27-year-old Matt Olson.
Right.
It extends the window a little bit, and you can reevaluate in 2 years, and they're going to have to pay Olsen. He's that type of player, but they'll be able to reevaluate. Are we willing to go, 5 or 6 year contract on a 29-year-old Matt Olsen or a 32-year-old Freddie Freeman?
Right. So, I agree. And as much as we hate to see players that are with organizations for a long time that have had big impacts with an organization, if we're a fan of, it's the sports world is a business world, and there's constant change. I mean, if we don't know about constant change, we've seen a lot of change between players and teams in just the last 24 hours. It's been absolutely insane. Like if you have notifications on your phone for sports updates, your phone's probably been ticking off every few minutes with something happening, somebody getting something, somebody moving somewhere, this or that happening. And a lot of that too is with the delay in the whole baseball, so it's all coming at one time.
Well, there was a really fun interaction last year. The Braves were blowing out the Cubs, so Rizzo went out and pitched and struck out Freddie Freeman. If you would have told me at that moment that 6 months later Anthony Rizzo would no longer be a Cub and Freddie Freeman would have no longer been a Brave,
right?
You're nuts. Like
right.
Those franchise players, faces of the franchise, faces of the fan in the community, fan bases, everything. And it just kind of reminds you that it's a business, and we get attached to these guys, and sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And this
Right.
idea of players staying in their entire career at teams, it just doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't.
Right. If he couldn't have negotiated his contract, got paid, not jump ship. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. And then the other thing is like Pache. So, the youngster Christian Pache, gets traded in that whole ordeal too. What's your guys' take on Pache? Is he going to be a star?
His gloves that of a star.
Right.
He's come up sporadically over the last 3 years, and his bat's not been there. Now, I'm not saying he's 23, so I'm not saying they can't develop, but that's the biggest issue. I think that's why Atlanta was willing to move him. They also have a nice prospect in Drew Waters in the outfield too, and you have Acuna. So you're not like desperate for a center fielder, right? You don't need a Gold Glove center fielder to go out there. So
Right.
It's a good pickup for the Athletics. I think that package is great, for a guy that everybody knew they were trying to shop in Olsen. So,
right. Yep. All right. Schmo says the bigger story to me is the lack of top free agent signings. What happened with the market?
It's bats. I mean, all the arms are gone pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Bats are always slower. It's weird. So it'll be like a landslide. Like when one goes, everybody will start figuring out where these, because right now every team is reaching out to multiple free agents. So we're kind of seeing it, right? Olsen goes to Atlanta, and everybody immediately goes, okay, does that mean Freddie to LA? And does that mean Rizzo back to New York? And so you start figuring out the pieces after more and more moves happen. So we'll see it the next couple of days, probably.
Right. All right. And then Minuteman says Ken Griffey Jr. is now the 6th highest paid player on the Reds after today's trade. Oh, that's another big one. Yes, that's what I forgot to write down. Jesse Winker and Suarez go to the Mariners. Dude, we already thought that the Mariners, young, talented team, now they're bringing on some veteran leadership in Winker and Suarez. I like that team right now. I like the Mariners right now. And I thought that they were we talked about it, I think, towards the end of last year in the season, and like who they have with Kalenic, with Evan White. I mean, some of this young talent that they have on that team, and now they're adding some of this veteran leadership, man. It's going to be interesting to see how well they compete in this upcoming season. What's your guys' take? Is Winker going to continue to be a mashing bat and solid performer in Seattle, or was that kind of a 1-year thing that he just kind of? What do you think, Nate?
I mean, I actually saw something on Twitter that like Winker's he's really good against right-handed pitching, and apparently the AL West is like loaded with right-handed pitching, so that seems to be a good middle of the lineup bat for Seattle. And then like I said, like that's like kind of like a veteran player, him and Suarez on the young team. So hopefully the Mariners they kind of been like one of the teams that have been, I guess I would say, underperforming, I guess, the past couple of years. But hopefully with these 2 moves with the 2 new players, they can make that run in the AL West.
Joby, Sonny Gray. I mean, I'm a fan of Sonny Gray as a pitcher. You're asking about Twins picking up Sonny Gray. I'm a fan of him. I mean, you got to remember he pitched in a hitter's like park that was like the top hitter's park. I know Target Field is a hitter's park too, in a sense, but it's nowhere near what Cincinnati's field is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're an MLB DFS player, you stack whoever's batting in Cincy if it's in Cincinnati, either there or Coors Field. Those are the 2 top fields that you play your offensive bats against. So he had it was against him. I mean, it's just the way it is. Like Homer Bailey, all these guys that used to be in Cincinnati one time. Imagine being a pitcher with your first name being Homer. I mean, it's crazy, right? Crazy.
The one thing that was interesting about Seattle was they were linked to Chris Bryant a lot. And so they were looking for another bat. And a lot of people talked about like Chris splitting time at third and outfield. Well, they kind of just filled that with Suarez and Winker, right?
Yeah.
Because so they've taken the Chris Bryant role that they were hoping for and said, hey, we're just going to split it between these two guys. And that's one of the things, like Winker's never played a full season. He's never played over like 100 games. So you can't really rely on him to be healthy. And Suarez hit 190 last year. And then 2019, he hit 50 homers and hit 270. So we'll see which player shows up.
Maybe Eddie Rosario comes back to Minnesota.
I know you'd like that. I know
you. I honestly, I'm just gonna say this, and I said it before. I feel like he is a player that will end up sometime in his career. He'll end back up in Minnesota. You know, maybe close out his career here. It may not happen now. You know, I'm not saying it's going to, but I think he's a player that'll end his career in Minnesota. He'll come back to Minnesota. I just have that feeling. I don't know. The Garver, you know, that's kind of a weird whole ordeal, right? So we trade Garver, the Twins trade Garver away, and that's like our power catcher bat. Now he had some issues being healthy last season. You know, he missed a lot of games due to not being healthy, but man, he was like one of my top. Besides Buxton, he was one of my favorite current Twins when he was still with us. So then we go get Sanchez, which, you know, I'm hearing a lot of mixed things on it, and I get it and I understand it. But again, you got to remember, guys, he was playing in New York. He was playing for the Yankees. I think things change when he gets here. I think it's a little different. The pressure's not as heavy. I think he performs better. I think he turns some things around. But the big highlight of that is that Urschel, that dude Gio is an absolute beast. He's young. He's got a bat. He's pretty good defensively. I think that's going to be really the highlight if we end up keeping him. You know, there's talks of us going after Trevor Story. I don't know if Trevor Story landed somewhere while we've been live, or maybe somebody signed him. I don't know. It's probably still out there available. There's talks of them and a couple other teams going after Trevor Story. I know RSR is not a fan of that. As being a Rockies fan, he just gets to see every one of his star players get traded away. Just traded away. It's like they're just letting that organization just – it's like pretty soon the Rockies won't be a team. They're just going to fall off like the MLB map. Like they don't – who do they have? They're never really going after much of anything. They're just always constantly just giving up the air. We'll trade away this guy. Here, you guys want Arenado? There you go. Take him. You know, Blackman's still there. I think Blackman's going to be the one guy that stands with the Rockies until the Rockies are no longer an organization. He'll be the one guy there with the big beard just rocking away, man. Good old Charlie.
That's one of the things I was disappointed with, was not having a salary floor in this new CBA, because I see like a team like the Rockies or a team like the Reds, who cleared like $60 million in payroll, just giving players away. It's just sad, and it's not good for those cities and those fan bases. That doesn't help the game when you have teams completely be just non-existent for 2 to 3, 4, 5 years at a time, right? The Orioles are coming out of that right now. They've been a complete joke for 5 years. It doesn't help. If you're trying to grow the game, you want as many fan bases involved and like loving that their team is making moves and like,
yes.
I've heard multiple fans of multiple organizations this offseason be like, I don't want to watch this team. I don't want to watch this anymore. And that doesn't help the game at all.
Right. Pittsburgh would like a word.
True. Pittsburgh's another one.
Yeah.
I must say like that. That's a good point, because like you see every year, like say you said the Orioles, Tigers,
Athletics.
Yeah, Athletics, the Rays. It's like any team that just want to just try to get like top prospects in the draft. You see them lose 100 games for 4 or 5 straight years, like literally like that, like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I see Zach Veen being, a prospect, right? But he's a prospect. But here's what happens: like anybody that they keep around or that they grow that starts playing in the bigs and starts doing anything, they just eventually just trade away or get rid of. Like it's a constant thing. Like it's this isn't a. It seems like there's no rebuild ever going on in Colorado. It's just constant, just give away.
Yeah,
Give away.
yeah, it's a both ways like that though. Like you see the Rays, you see the Rays like they get like a top prospect, they go through the thing like, and then after like 4 or 5 years, trade them away. You see with the A's, like Olsen for example, rising through the ranks, plays well, trying to get paid, trade him. So
Yep. Yeah, and Schmo says it like these teams are like an extended development team for the big clubs, and that's pretty much
Yeah.
what it is.
yeah,
as
Brady gives me the eyes. So come on, you got something to say? Voice it, baby. Let's go.
No, I think you're right. It's just I'm glad. I'll just say I'm glad I'm not a fan base of one of those teams. The Cubs have plenty of issues. Trust me. I'm very annoyed with their decision making this offseason.
But at least you've had to enjoy championships in the last so many years and good runs, and you with that you have to be able to take a few years or weird things happening and disappointments, and that's a lot of what comes with winning championships. Like once you win that championship, eventually people need to get paid. People want to go places. You know what I mean? That's the issues, and that's why it's hard for teams to be repeat teams, three-peat teams, in whatever organization, because usually guys want to get paid, and people want them. You know, they make that run.
That's why I think you see a lot of these teams doing this entire rebuild thing. The margin of error is so small, right? You have to develop multiple stars, and they all need to be playing at a star level within the same 2 to 3 year period, and then you need to like sprinkle in some like okay signings, and then you need everybody to overperform to make the playoffs and get a run. Whereas like if you're the Dodgers, do you think they care that this prospect didn't pan out? No, they're just going to give Freddie Freeman $30 million a year and they'll be fine. Like they don't care. Like like the same thing with like the Yankees or now the Mets with Steve Cohen. Like he's just going to keep throwing money at it. Right? They've traded prospect after prospect. Okay, we need this hole. Let's just throw money at it. So it's just a different dynamic. There's a lot higher. There's a lot better way of filling your needs than when you're with a small market team that literally is like, do we have a prospect? No. Okay, let's sign a fringe guy that we hope plays well. That's all you can do.
Right. Joby won. Sorry, buddy, but my boy Byron Buxton ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. He's staying here in Minnesota. Right where his fastest in the league feet need to stay. So we need him. We're going to need him. Joe Schmo says, well, we'll go with Jim at first. He said, I've called the A's the quadruple A team for the Yankees back in the late 80s and 90s. That's good. That's a good one. Schmoey. Joby won. There are rumors of Buxton being traded to Philly, but our poverty franchise resigned Herrera. Yikes. All right. Anything else to highlight on the old MLB? Or anything else? You guys, any names or anything we didn't touch on as far as like big things? Has anything recently happened that we're not aware of? Because we've been on
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything pop up either. All right, let's close this out. Let's roll through. There's not a ton of comments or questions, which is good. Now, again, some of the stuff might not really even relate because this was from like a month ago.
Yeah.
But if it's something that just revolves around whatever, we'll take care of it. So. Another awesome podcast. Huge Stafford fan here in Michigan, so hopefully the Rams win. Yeah. Burrow will have that's let me see if I can find any thing that's relatable. Everything's Super Bowl talk because that's about when it was.
Yeah.
So by the time they're in football, Juwan. Oh, here's a good one. Juwan Howard, that whole incident that happened, should he have been fired? What's your take on that? And then I'll go to Brady, who's a Michigan fan.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was like a pretty bizarre situation, but I mean, should have been fired? No, I mean, he was pretty much like ready to be suspended for the rest of the season. I mean, that was more close to proper punishment for it, but yeah, that was kind of like a pretty bizarre thing to happen. It kind of got everybody on Twitter, debating of like, should he have got fired or why did he go out act that way? So But yeah, I think the punishment fit the thing. So
Real quick, before I have Brady answer that, McCutcheon went to Milwaukee, the Brewers. That's some McCutcheon. He's a beast.
So
He's still cracking it.
They have Yelich, Lorenzo Cain, and McCutcheon now out there.
Yeah, and he's still crushing it, man. He's a monster.
Yep, and he's a good locker room guy too. So
yeah.
Go
there's huh?
Go miss him in Philly.
Yeah.
Miss him in Philly, man.
Well, let's hope you guys get that NBA championship this year. So at least you got something to be thankful for and happy for, right? Those Sixers go win that title.
I hope so.
All right, Brady, what's your take on the Howard deal?
I do not think he should have been suspended. I do not think he should have been fired. I think he should have been suspended to the end of the year. And I think he should be she should be made aware of a zero tolerance policy going forward. And it doesn't even need to be an incident anywhere close to as bad as that was for him to be fired.
Yeah.
I agree.
Any sort of scuffle, any sort of comment that is, you had the little thing with the Maryland coach or the Rutgers coach, I think is what it was. And then obviously that incident. It's just disappointing because you had a guy that sat underneath Pat Riley as an assistant coach in the NBA. This isn't a guy who's inexperienced being around the game and being around and knowing how to keep your composure. And, so I know this season's been really, really frustrating. They were obviously a top 5 team to start the year and just completely underachieved, but that type of action is inexcusable. And the worst part for me was you saw your players starting to throw punches to try to defend him.
Yeah.
You have an 18-year-old guy like Moussa Diabate whose NBA future's on the line. What happens if something happens to him, right?
Right. Or he does something and he hurts somebody. Like,
yes.
People don't realize this, but like you literally could end up killing somebody. You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to have a bunch of power. You don't have to be an experienced fighter to hit somebody and kill somebody. Like, it can happen to anybody and anyone.
Yep.
I literally know somebody when I was right out of high school that our local state fair, he got into a fight, right? He was an athletic kid. He was like a promising kid, athletic. He wasn't into all that stuff, but he ended up getting in a fight. And he rocked the dude, and the dude fell back and hit his head like on the curb, like fell back when he hit him, rocked him, and ended up killing the kid. He spent 10 years in prison. His whole sports, he was going to college, whatever, all that was taken away from him because of that. And that wasn't his intent. His intent wasn't to kill that kid. His intent wasn't like they got in a scruffle, they got in a fight. But that shit can happen. That could happen at a game like that. Like, just one punch doesn't matter. You don't have to be Conor. I don't know why I say Conor McGregor because I don't even like the guy. But you don't have to be anybody like that or experience. It can just happen to anyone. I mean, if somebody gets hit wrong, if you fall, somebody falls wrong, whatever. Anything. And that's
the other thing. That's the other thing about being a college coach versus a professional coach. Professional coach, they're all grown men, right? They've been into this. I'm not saying that the kids at Michigan aren't grown men, but they're also 18-year-old kids. Like, especially some of these kids that are fresh out of high school. That's not the type of role model you want to be. That's not the type of role model Michigan wants as their coach, especially coming from a guy like John Beilein, who was the ultimate competitor and just the utmost respect for people. It was just disappointing as a Michigan fan to see that happen. But I also will say, from what I've heard about Juwan as a person, I have a very, very strong feeling that this will never be an issue ever again for him.
Oh, I think I agree.
So that gives me confidence too, because I think he obviously made a mistake. None of us are perfect, but I think he's the type of guy who's going to be like, you know what, this cannot happen again, and I will make sure that it does never happen again.
Sports Cards 24/7. What's going on, man? Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. So we're just about wrapping this thing up, I think. So you guys got anything else to add?
No.
Anything else that we didn't cover, we didn't touch on? There wasn't a lot of comments. Guys, if you would, please, just even if you don't care about winning a credit or a PayPal, just leave a comment when the thing gets up. Something that you want us to address next week or touch on at the end. I know we're 4 weeks out probably since we've been live. I've been busy. We've all been busy. There's things that have been going on. So we're back now. We want to focus back on this. I know it's good for me as much as it can be a struggle at times to make this happen Monday nights. I know it is good for me. I know it's good to get on here with you guys and to chat with you guys and to have the people in the chat and the comments and just the interactions, just the hangout in general, to be honest with you. I think it's good. I think it's great. And guys, as well, anybody watching this that's in here now or watches this later or whatever, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know if you ever want to be on. You don't have to know every sport. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to. Basically, just want to hear your opinions on things. And if you have nothing to say on certain things, you have nothing to say. You just say, yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that. Come join us though. Come on the pod sometime. We'd love to have you. So NASCAR. Oh yeah. Let's touch on NASCAR real quick. Real quick. So, in fact, so 2 weeks ago, I took Kyle Busch in Vegas. He was plus 2,500, I believe he was, to win it before the race started.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have won the damn race if there wasn't the damn caution with 5 or 7 laps left. I think their caution came out, and he was in first. He was running it. He had it was pretty much a lock, and yeah, he ended up fourth because of the restart. So we have that happened. And then Briscoe won it this week, right?
Yep.
And you know what he was? He was like plus 25,000 to win it. Could you imagine?
Yeah, like that's pretty. It's pretty funny too, because like I saw somebody mention like Chase Briscoe had a chance to win. I forgot who it was, but somebody did.
Can you imagine?
But yeah,
plus 25,000 on Chase Briscoe. Because I remember, because I was rolling with Blaney.
Yeah, I was too.
Blaney and Elliott and Logano. Logano's history's been insane there. Like, I felt like between those three, those are the guys I was going with. So I remember all the spreads and like looking at it and whatever. And boy, wrong. I was way wrong. I wasn't even close. I mean, they were in some of the top 10 finishes, but still, that doesn't matter. Maybe about you with the idea for the show. Sports cards. Yeah, you can just the email is just my name, deafness45@gmail.com. It's real simple. It's real easy. Or you can, if you're on Twitter, you can DM me, whatever, just send me a message. I should post that link too, guys, for that. I know Scott's not in here anymore. He might still be watching. What was it? It was marchmadness.com, right? Is that what it was?
It's in your description too.
Yeah, it is in the description below, and I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
guys,
I'll post it.
Yeah, we're gonna post in the chat one more time. There is a March Madness bracket we're doing, or Scott's doing, for Ripping for the Cure to raise money for Crohn's and colitis. All money raised goes to the cause, the foundation. And they have a bunch of cool different prizes that, first place, second place, a lot of different things you can win. Pretty cool, pretty fun. $5 sheet to get in. You do it through the link. You sign up. You can do it. Fill out your bracket. Make sure you get it in. I think I'm doing 3 of them. You can do up to 5 of them if you want. Just have fun with it. Have fun with it. Yep, there you go. So Brady posted the link there. Scott's got the link in there as well. So guys, please get out there, support. Get in it, have fun with it. At the end of the day, it's all just about having fun, right? Just have fun with it. Just take some oddballs, take some chances. There's always upsets in this tournament.
Yep.
It's never every single team that's the higher ranked team wins every game. That's not how it works. In fact, I think there was a tournament a few years back. I think it was like 5 years ago now. It was like one of those big sites I had. It was like $100,000 to first place or something. And some, not to be sexist or anything, but some female who knew nothing about the tournament or knew nothing about it filled out a bracket and ended up winning, like scoring it all, because she didn't know. Because sometimes in this thing, the more you know, sometimes can work against you when it becomes tournament time. Because you overlook, you overanalyze, you're like, this team is gonna beat this team. You know, it's kind of like that Murray State going to the Final Four, baby. Murray State, baby, Final Four, baby. Come on. Who's riding with me?
Hey.
Let's go. Yep, there goes Minuteman. Murray, he puts Murray State right in.
Murray State.
Let's go. I'm not saying they're going to win it all. I'm saying Final Four, baby. So, all right, guys, I think that's going to wrap it. Appreciate Brady. Appreciate Nate. Appreciate Scott getting in here. Appreciate my man Balls hanging out in the chat, being a part of this. Love you, man. Hope you're doing well. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys that were hanging out tonight, that are watching this live or watch this later. Again, please leave us a comment once this uploads on a question, topic, whatever it may be. Get yourself a shot and get those brackets filled out. And go Murray State. Peace.